Okay, sige. Para mabi mo, Max, welcome. Para niya welcome pa din.
Good afternoon, everyone. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought us all to the new normal. While adjusting has been difficult to each and every one of us, there is a need for us to continue striving despite these trying times. The university as an institution, which helps lead the Partido district into its pandemic response by implementing programs and researches aimed at minimizing, if not totally eradicating, the negative socioeconomic impacts of COVID-19, has always been true to its commitment to be your ally in education, in wellness, and in health. As such, the University Medical and Dental Clinic welcomes you all to this webinar program entitled Tapusin ang Pandemya, Tayo ay Magpabakuna, which aims to elevate our stakeholders' confidence on the vaccination program of the government. To begin with, may we invite everyone for a moment of silence as we do the opening prayer. This will be followed shortly by the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
Shining example of your goodness and truth within, wherever we are. Inspire our thoughts, discussions, and ideas, and continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth for the greater glory of you. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, telos ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa likid mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng
Thank you, everyone. Today, we are honored to be joined by our university officials. And so, to officially open our program, allow me to welcome our Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Erlinda M. Basilia, for the opening remarks.
Okay. To our invited resource speaker, Dr. Jose Manuel Piranyola III, to our university president, Dr. Raul G. Bardicina, other university officials, faculty, and most especially our students who are already online right now via Zoom. Good noon to everyone. First, I would like to congratulate the medical and dental unit of the university, headed by our university medical officer, Dr. Jose Seth Cledera, together with the OSAS Dean, Dr. Gemty Barciliano, for conceptualizing and coming up with this very relevant activity, which is about COVID-19 vaccination. I know that the main purpose and objective of this webinar is to promote accurate awareness and understanding of the COVID-19 vaccination, as well as to have a positive outlook towards vaccination. Because at present, there are still more people within the community, even in our barangay, that are hesitant, if not totally refuse, to have vaccinated in case there are vaccines that will arrive. They do not want to be vaccinated because they really do not know and understand very well the significance of this vaccine, especially in fighting against COVID-19 virus. So through this webinar, at least increase the awareness and improve the willingness of the people of the community and other stakeholders towards COVID-19 vaccination. So the main purpose of this webinar is for us to give an accurate information, most especially to our community, the people living in with our community, for them to be informed that this vaccination really could, if not totally stop, but it could minimize the infection within ourselves. So to our students, most especially, it is your role to take part and listen very carefully to our resource speaker in order for you to disseminate what you have learned in this webinar this afternoon, for you to give an accurate information to your family, to your friends, and all the people within your community. So to everyone, that we will have a very good webinar this afternoon so that we can serve our community in this kind of information. So to everyone, again, good afternoon.
Thank you, Madam. To also keep our spirits high and to show his support to this project, The university president is also joining us today in this undertaking. So ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to give to you for a message our university president, Dr. Raul G. Bradicino.
Sa ating ginagalangan na point person for emerging infectious diseases of Bicol Medical Center, Dr. Jose Manuel Ranula. Magandang hapon po, sir. Sa ating Director General ng DOH Food and Drug Administration, Dr. Roland Enrique Domingo. Magandang hapon po. At sa ating Undersecretary ng Department of Health, Public Health Sector Service Team, Dr. Mirna Kabutay. Magandang hapon po. Sa aking mga kasamahan sa university, kay Dean Basilia, kay Dr. Cledera, ang aming University Medical Officer, kay Dr. Barciliano, ang aming Dean sa Students Affairs and Services. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat sa pagkakaroon ng ganito pong oportunidad na mag-disseminate ng information sa isang napaka-importanting bagay na may kinalaman sa ating kalusugan at sa ating buhay. Ganon din sa mga kasamahan ko na faculty members at personnel ng university na nakaantabay ngayon at mga estudyante. Good afternoon to all of you. Unang-una, gusto kong express ang malalim na appreciation sa mga guest at resource persons natin ngayong hapon sapagkat ito ay ang mga akma sa panahon natin na meron tayong pag-aalala sa kahihinatnan ng pandemya. At makita lamang natin ang kanilang presensya na sila ay nakikipag-ugnayan sa atin ng seryoso ay isa ng napakalaking bagay na bigyan tayo ng pag-asa. Alam nyo, nung kasagsagan ng COVID, gumawa tayo ng maliit na pag-aaral. Pinag-aralan natin sa pamamaraan ng online yung knowledge at saka yung attitude at practices ng ilang mga respondents. Alam nyo, ang sangkot sa pag-aaral na yon tungkol sa knowledge ay tatlo. Yung clinical presentation, meron tayong statements doon para mahagip o makuha natin ang kanilang opinion. Yung transmission routes at saka yung prevention and control. Napag-alaman natin na sa ECQ at sa GCQ ay relatively mataas ho yung knowledge score ng ating mga respondents. Hindi nag-differ, wala masyadong diferensya. Pumalo ho ito sa 83%. Ibig sabihin, mataas. Ano po? Ma-i-attribute natin ito sa mga kampanya ng ating ahensya ng gobyerno, lalong-lalo na ang DOH, ano po, sa media at sa kung ano-ano pa na mga inisyatibo. At tiningnan din natin yung tungkol sa attitude. Yung sa attitude, nakita natin na nung mag-relax, yung mag-sa-ECQ, medyo bumaba ng konti. Yung score sa attitude, ano ba yung attitude? Tinanong natin sila, kayo ba ay naniniwala na ang COVID ay makokontrol natin successfully? Noong ECQ, mataas ng konti, 79% ang nag-agree. Pero nung mag-GCQ, medyo matagal-tagal na ng konti, 63% na lang yung nag-agree. Okay. Tapos sinanong ulit natin sila, do you have confidence na ang ating lugar ay mananalo sa pakikipaglaban natin sa COVID. Ang nagsabi na nag-agree sila 98% ng ECQ. Nung mag-GCQ ay 89% na lamang. Although hindi masyadong malaki ang akwat, pero masasabi natin na pag nagre-relax talaga, nagkakaroon ng kunting pagbababa din at pagre-relax sa sa knowledge, particularly sa attitude at sa practice. Yung sa practice, tinanong natin sila, kayo ho ba ay nagagamit ng maskara, ng face mask kapag lumalabas? Noong ECQ, 86% ang nagsabi. Pero nung mag-GCQ ay tumaas ng mas masyado ang nagsasabi na gumagamit na sila. 97% ang nagsasabi. Ito marahil ay ang pag-i-implement ng ating pamahalaan ng mga polisiya at mga kalituntunin na dapat magsuot talaga ng maskara. Alam nyo, mga kasama dito sa university at sa mga nag-aantabay ngayon, importanteng masyado itong inisyatibong ito ang pag-disseminate ng information, particularly galing sa mga authorities. Makikita natin na ang gobyerno natin ay talagang nag-i-invest para labanan ang pandemya sa lahat ng anggulo. Nag-i-invest sila sa dalawang bagay. Ano itong dalawang bagay na ito? Una, sa treatment, yung pagbili ng bakuna. Pangalawa, sa treatment, pati yung mga nagkakasakit, treatment ho yun. Pangalawa, doon sa pag-manage ng behavior. At sa tingin ko mga kasama, ang pinakamahirap ay yung pag-manage ng behavior. Ano ba tong mga behavioral aspect ng pag-manage ng pandemya? Ito ay may kinalaman sa enforcement at saka sa education. Yung enforcement ho ay role ho yun ng mga pulis at kung sino pang merong authority. Tayo naman sa edukasyon, role ho natin yung sa education. Ang mag-disseminate ng information. At ako ay nagagalak na ang Partido State University ay naging isang venue ng pag-disseminate ng information tungkol po dito sa pagbabakuna at sa pagkakaroon ng pandemya. Alam niyo po, ang disinformation, sinabi ko kanina, ay may kinalaman ho ito sa paglaban sa anumang pandemya. Maraming mga teorya ang nagkukumpirma na ang behavior ng isang tao na sinasabi ko kanina na kailangan i-manage ang behavior ay nag-uugat po ito sa knowledge at saka perception of risk. Ito ho ang nagdi-define ng ating behavior. Kaya kung mahina yung kaalaman, yung knowledge, mahina rin yung kanyang perception of risk. Kapag mahina yung perception of risk, nako, kahit paanong isabi mo, ang alam niya para siyang sinardong putik, barilin mo man siya, hindi siya tatablan. Kasi sabi niya, ako pa. Ngayon, kasi mahina yung kanyang kaalaman. Bakit mahina ang kaalaman? Unang-una, yung pinag-aralan natin at very important, yung information acquisition. Maramihan sa atin ay hindi na nag-aral kasi natapos na at bago rin itong COVID. So kailangan dito ang information. Kailangan ang mga impormasyon at kailangan nating seryosuhin ang impormasyon sapagkat ang impormasyon ang magbubuo ng ating persepsyon. Kung mababa ang ating persepsyon ng risk na tayo ay madadali, sabi nga ng isang NGO, no? Pag mahina ang pagbibilib natin na tayo ay madadali, hindi tayo gagawa ng seryosong mga hakbang. Yun ang tinatawag nating behavior. Sa ngayon, yung pera ng gobyerno ay napupunta sa dalawang bagay o fronts na sinasabi natin, yung sa treatment at saka sa management of behavior. Kung siseryosuhin natin ito at isa sa puso ang mga i-discuss sa atin ng ating mga panauhin, ay makakatulong na tayo sa ating gobyerno at sa ating society sapagkat mismo sa sarili natin magsisimula ang pag-change ng behavior from passive to active to positive. At dito, kung meron na tayong positive behavior, hindi na masyadong maglalaan ng pera ang gobyerno para i-manage ang ating behavior. wala nang ilalaan sa pagka-quarantine, wala nang ilalaan para sa mga checkpoints at kung ano-ano pa. Doon na lang ilalaan ito sa treatment at pagbili ng bakuna. Kaya mga kasamahan, isa puso natin ang anumang bagay na mga impormasyon na ibibigay sa atin sa ngayon ng ating mga ginagalangan ng mga opisyal ng Department of Health. Isa puso at i-disseminate natin ito na hindi lamang tayo ang makinabang na mabago ang ating behavior na magkaroon ng higher level of perception of risk kasi nga hindi nakikita ito. At kung hindi mo nakikita, yung risk perception ay mababa kasi hindi mo naman nakita na nandiyan na pala. Okay, so napaka-importante ito. At sa ngalan ng aming university, ako po ay nagpapasalamat sa mga participants sa Zoom o sa video conference na ito. At very important po, gusto kong ipaabot ang pasasalamat ng University Administration at ng community kina Dr. Ranyola, Dr. Domingo, at Dr. Kabutahe. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat.
Thank you, sir. Now, we will be moving on to the introduction of our resource speaker, which will be given to us by Dr. Jose Seth B. Clidera Jr., our University Medical Officer 3.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our speaker for today is from Naga City. He graduated with a degree of Doctor of Medicine from my alma mater, the University of Santo Tomas, Faculty of Medicine and Surgery. He took his residency training in internal medicine at the Manila Doctors Hospital, where he later became the chief resident of the internal medicine department. He then had his fellowship training in adult infectious diseases and tropical medicine at the University of Santo Tomas Hospital. He is a fellow of the Philippine College of Physicians and a member of the Philippine Society for Microbiology and Infectious Diseases. Currently, he is an active consultant in the infection control physician of Bicol Medical Center and ICC Doctors Hospital, USI Mother Siton, and St. John Hospital. In addition, he is the HIV/AIDS core team leader and the point person for re-emerging infectious diseases of Bicol Medical Center. Without further ado, it is my honor and privilege to introduce and have with us today an adult infectious diseases specialist and someone I consider a mentor, Dr. Jose Manuel T. Ranyola III, or Doc Joey.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jet, for that kind introduction. I'd like to thank the PSU community for inviting me in your activity today, particularly to Dr. Basilia and Dr. Badicina. I hope I'll be able to help your community in your decision making if you will get yourself vaccinated or not. Prior to my talk, I had a discussion with Dr. Jet with regards to your data on the vaccine uptake, or of your community, From your survey, I think 28.2% out of 576 respondents had answered yes to the vaccination, 15% no, and a big chunk is undecided, the 56%. And I hope after my talk, this 56% will be able to decide now if they will get vaccinated or not. And I hope it will be an affirmative decision. And I think one of the survey questions also is what kind of vaccines are the preference, 41.5% answered Pfizer, 16.3% would like Astra, and 16.1% would like Sinovac, and there's a 41.5% others. I don't know what kind of other vaccines they would want. So I was asked to talk about the different kinds of vaccines, but before that, I'll share my screen now. Wait. So the title of my talk will be COVID-19 vaccine, alin ang pipiliin? No? These pictures that you're seeing here are my team in the COVID ward of the Bicol Medical Center. So I had declared no conflict of interest, and the objectives of these presentations are for the audience to be updated on the current epidemiological status of COVID-19 from global to hospital level, and understand the current trends in COVID-19 vaccines and increase the awareness with regards to the COVID-19 vaccines. So let's talk about the global landscape. There are a total of 4,038,292 cases all over the world as of April 6. Southeast Asia is about 14% of that. That's 592. And we all know, when we talk about Southeast Asia, a big chunk of the cases is coming from the Philippines. And total mortality, sorry. Total mortality worldwide is about 2,842,325. That's about 11% of the total. Oh, I think this is very high. Wrong data. Now, nationally, we have a total of 884,783 cases. We've been seeing almost more than 6,000 every day since the start of March up to April. No? There was one case that it reached 12,000. Of this, 18.7% are active cases, and about 79.6% has recovered. Our case fatality rate nationwide is 1.73%, or that's about 15,286 individuals. Region-wide, we have a total of 6,057 cases. And our total active case right now is 15%. That's about 909 cases. And our recovery rate is about 80.9%. Region-wide, our case fatality rate is 4, and that's higher than the 1.73% that we have nationally. If we look at by distribution by province, no, of course, de Mapadaog ang Camarines Sur. We have a total of 1,644, no? And Naga City has 1,054 cases. It's even higher than the whole province of Albay. Right now, total active cases, Camarines Sur has 314 cases, Naga has 220, Sorsogon has 133 active cases. By recovery, we have a very good recovery rate. No? Naga City has 76%, Camarines Sur is also 76%. As to death, Camarines Sur tops the list at 80, and then followed by Albay, and we have Naga City at 33. Let's talk about our facility at BMC. Come March, no, we had an increase in the number of consultation in our arid, ER arid, COVID arid, no. From March 20 to March 2021, there's only a total of 3,895, And a big chunk of that from January to March is about 1,046 consultation. And the spike really came this March. As to the admitted cases, 85 in January, and then February 30, we were very relaxed during that time. In fact, we were able to close down 2 wards, and we were able to renovate those wards. And then come March, it started to go up again, 73 up to this April. We have a lot of patients in our COVID ward. Confirmed cases, 85 in January, 30 lang no February, 73 this March. So as to recovered, out of the 85 cases in January, 71 recovered. Out of the 30 last February, 25 recovered. And in March, only 30 because some of these patients are still admitted in the COVID ward. And death, we have 14 deaths last January, 5 so far in 5 in February and 5 in March. And for March, 38 of those 73 patients are still currently admitted. As to sex distribution, a big chunk are female at 54% and 46% are male. As to the age group, we are seeing more than 60 years old category. This is because what we admit in BMC are the moderate to the critical ones, and these are usually the senior citizens and those with comorbidities. As to the area, of course, winner ang Naga City with 263 cases, followed by Canacman at 36, and we have Pili at 26 cases, Balatan at 24. As to the patients being admitted to us, a big chunk is still mild. The reason being, once you're an employee of BMC and you turn out to be positive, regardless of your category, you will be admitted in our facility. And critical ones are 96, moderate are 95. So this is just a graph of the cases. 79% recovered, 15% died, and 6% currently admitted. So let's talk about the COVID-19 vaccines. This is the main point of this lecture. When we talk about vaccines, these are it can be a suspension or attenuated, live or killed microorganisms, or fraction thereof. And it is being administered to induce immunity and thereby prevent infectious disease. Let's put it in layman's term. It is a medicine that is being injected to a human so that that person will develop immunity or panglaban, para they will avoid a certain disease. And vaccine helps our immune system fight infections faster and more effectively. Gusto sabihin, if you have the vaccine, and your body develop immunity or antibody to that particular disease, once you're exposed to that disease, your body will be able to help fight off that infection in such a way that you will not develop the disease, or if and when you develop the disease, mild lang siya. So if you have the vaccine, it is more effective. Vaccines provide long-lasting immunity to serious disease without the risk of serious illness. So we have to understand that when you get vaccines, it is not something that will make you sick. Ang iba kaya ang iniisip, pag ako ngayon nagpabakuna, magkakahilang lugod lalo ako. No. These vaccines will help your body develop immunity or antibody to a certain disease. And because of the introduction and widespread use of the vaccines, it resulted in the global eradication of smallpox. No, to the young generations, probably you don't know what smallpox is anymore because it has been eliminated. There's also elimination of poliomyelitis and dramatic reductions in incidence of other diseases like your measles, your mumps, and rubella. Because of the advent of vaccines, nabawasan yung mga cases na nagkakasakit ng ganitong mga sakit. So, what is the body's natural response? So, when our body encounters a pathogen, a bacteria, a virus, no, it causes disease within the body. Nagkakahilang kita. And each pathogen are made up of several subparts. And each subpart is unique to a specific pathogen and the disease it causes, no? So, kada bacteria, kada virus, may mga kanya-kanya sindang parts na sindang nagiging cause kang hilang. And this subpart that causes the formation of antibodies is called an antigen, no? So, ining subpart, itong parte kang bacteria or virus na iyan na nagkukos kang hilang, yun ang inaapod na antigen na dyan nagkakaigwang reaction ang body para magkaigwang antibody or immunity ang sarong tao. The antibodies produced in response to the pathogen's antigen are an important part of the immune system, no? And these antibodies are the soldiers in our body's immune system. Kumbaga, sinda ang naglalaban sa mga helang na nakukuata, no? These antibodies are the soldiers in our body's immune system. The antigen-specific antibodies are produced and they work with the rest of the immune system. So inside our body, no, the antigen na hali duman sa bacteria and si antibody na nasa hawak ta, pag sinda naghirilingan sa laog kang hawak ta, they produce protection sa tuya. And these antibody producing memory cells are created because of this reaction of the antigen and antibodies inside our body. So this is how vaccines work. It can be a weak or dead form of the germ that is introduced in our body, and this sparks your immune system of your immune response to develop antibodies that remember the germs, no? So, ini si antigen, ini si antibody, pag nagdurukutan sinda, they will form an antibody that will help our immune system. And these antibodies fight off the germ if it invades again. So, halimbawa sa COVID-19, pag igwa ka ng antibody na na-form dahil si bakuna, pag na-expose ka, no, matabang siya para malabanan na daig ka magka-COVID-19 or kung magka-COVID-19 ka man, mild na sana. And there are three main approaches to making a vaccine, no? So it can be using a whole virus or bacterium. It can be parts that trigger the immune system or just the genetic material. Let's discuss this one by one. When we talk about the whole microbe approach, gusto sabihon, it can be an inactivated vaccine, it can be a live attenuated vaccine, or a viral vector vaccine. When we talk about inactivated vaccine, the disease-carrying virus or bacterium is inactivated or killed using chemicals, heat, or radiation. Gusto sabihon, si virus or si bacteria, pigagadan, no? Para maging parte kang bakuna. An example of this is your flu vaccine and your polio vaccines. No? Ang polio vaccines, halos gabos ng mga kaakian, tinatawanan ng polio vaccines. That is why at some point, na-eradicate ang poliomyelitis sa Pilipinas until such time, about 2 or 3 years ago, na nagkaigwang resurgence. An example of the other inactivated vaccines is the Sinopharm from China and the Sinovac, the vaccine that we are giving right now, the CoronaVac. No? And this kind of vaccine can be manufactured on a reasonable scale. Next is a live attenuated vaccine. Iniman, it is living, but weakened version of the virus or one that's very similar. So example, MMR, bakuna sa tipdas, beke, saka tipdas hangin. Chickenpox, no? Or bulutong tubig and shingles, no? Mga live vaccine yan. This is not suitable for immune-compromised people. So sa mga taong maluya ang immune system, di pwede. Now, another form is the viral vector vaccine. This uses a safe virus to deliver specific subparts called proteins so that it can trigger an immune response without causing the disease. So yan ang importante. It will not cause a disease. So the instructions for making particular parts of the pathogen of interest are inserted into a safe virus, no? So may vector. Gusto sabihin, may nagdadara kaitong parte katong bacteria palaog sa hawak ta duman sa bakuna. And it serves as platform or vector to deliver the protein in the body. Then the protein triggers the immune response. Example is your Ebola, your Astra vaccine, the Johnson & Johnson, and the Gamaleya. For the live attenuated vaccine, no COVID-19 vaccine na nagibo na using this platform na live attenuated vaccine. Next is the subunit approach. Subunit means it only uses the very specific parts of a virus or bacterium that the immune system needs to recognize. It only uses, example, whooping cough, tetanus, diphtheria, meningococcal meningitis na vaccine. And for the COVID-19, we have the Novavax. A new way of making the vaccine is the genetic approach. No? It is a nucleic acid vaccine that uses a section of the genetic material that provides the instructions for specific proteins. Ini ang pinakabago. It uses DNA and RNA as instructions for our cells to make used to make proteins. And the DNA is first turned into a messenger RNA, then used as the blueprint to make specific proteins. So ini medyo complicated intindihon, pero this is a new way of making the vaccine. Initially, this kind of approach is being used for cancer treatment, no? But with the advent of this COVID-19, they were able to use this for vaccine purpose. An example of this one is your Pfizer and your Moderna. So how are vaccines being developed? Before I continue with this one, I'll show you a video from the WHO about how vaccines are being developed. And this is a very nice video to help us also understand that how vaccines are being developed. Now, it's not an easy 1, 2, 3, and we can use it na, no? So I hope that the reception will be good.
Developing vaccines is a long-range full of checklists. Different phases of process are designed to make sure it is both effective and but with the whole world struggling to contain an unprecedented amount of vaccines, the road to finding the COVID-19 looks more like this. But first, let's take a look at it. During preclinical trials, the vaccine is tested on animals to determine whether they can if these trials are successful, the candidate vaccine moves on to phase 1 trials, during which the vaccine is given to a small number of healthy adults to assess its safety. The results of every phase are reviewed by independent clinical experts who assess the research team's findings. Sometimes they'll pause the trials to check the results, always making sure the candidate vaccine is safe. The next phase involves a larger group of people to find out the appropriate dose, whether it stimulates an immune
Are you able to hear the audio of this video?
Medyo mahina po siya, Doc.
Okay, let's mahina. Paano kaya? Sige, okay.
Once the results have been checked by the independent expert observers, the candidate vaccine is evaluated among thousands more volunteers. This then determines whether it is effective against disease. If the answer is yes, the vaccine is independently assessed by regulators for effectiveness, safety, and quality. It is also assessed by independent policymakers to determine the best way to use it. If the assessment meets the regulatory standards, the product can be authorized to use, and the vaccine is then ready for licensing and registration. Once that happens, the approved vaccine can be population. But because of the urgent need for a COVID-19 vaccine, some of the phases can run in parallel, and the research team can submit a request for temporary authorization from national regulatory authorities and an emergency use from WHO. This authorization in WHO emergency
Yun na. Arte yan eh.
but the rise doesn't stop there. It continues to be monitored by health authorities for safety and for effectiveness to ensure the vaccine maintains the race is on to find vaccines for COVID, which is why some but not everyone is subject to the same checks and independent monitoring. So although we'll get the COVID-19 vaccine faster, they'll be as safe as other
Ano? Ay na? Pindot mo kaya dito, Mike, yeah. Malib na ko, no?
I don't know if the audio was clear enough a while ago, but anyway, I'll be discussing it. No, so if you look at the video, so that is the process of how vaccines are being developed. No, they must go through extensive and rigorous testing to ensure it can be introduced in a country's vaccine program. Now, it must undergo screening and evaluations to determine which antigen should be used to invoke an immune response. And preclinical phase is done in animals to evaluate its safety and potential to prevent disease. Now, if the vaccine triggers an immune response, then it is being tested in human clinical trials in 3 phases. Phase 1, it involves small number of volunteers to assess its safety, confirms it generates an immune response, and to determine the right dose. And this is usually tested in young, healthy adult volunteers. If they pass the phase 1, they will proceed with phase 2, which includes several hundred volunteers to further assess its safety and ability to generate an immune response. And the participants have the same characteristics as the people for whom the vaccine is intended. And it goes through multiple trials with various age groups and different formulations. And if it passes to phase 2, it proceeds to phase 3, wherein thousands of volunteers and compared to a similar group of people who didn't get the vaccine and assesses vaccine efficacy and safety. It is conducted across multiple countries and multiple sites, and both phase 2 and 3 investigations are blinded, meaning during the course of the study, the researchers are not aware of what they are giving. Is it the placebo or the vaccine itself? So they can be able to give a very good recommendation as to the effect of these 2 different subjects. It goes through rigorous reviews of efficacy and safety for regulatory and public health policy approvals. If you look at these 3 phases, all of them, no, they have to ascertain the efficacy and safety before they can proceed to the next phase. So at kung phase 1 pa lang, safety issue na agad, it will not proceed. Or phase 1 pa lang, efficacy issue na agad, it will not proceed. So very rigorous, no? Before a certain vaccine can be introduced to the people, no? So although with the COVID-19 vaccine, no, na shortcut yung proseso, but ang na shortcut lang naman yung number of years, but as to the number of people the subjects and the studies being done are the same pa rin naman. So we can be assured that these vaccines are efficacious and they are safe to be given. Now, this slide tells us the different kind of vaccines that are presently as given EUA, Emergency Use Authorization, by our Philippine FDA. We have the BioNTech Pfizer, we have the Moderna, the Astra, Gamaleya, and the Sinovac. Si BioNTech and Moderna, they are mRNA, no? They have FDA approval in the US, in UK. 2 doses frequency din, no? 21 days apart si Pfizer, 28 days apart si Moderna. Now, the peculiarity of these 2 mRNA is the storage requirement, no? It needs an ultra low freezer, no? 70 degrees, less than 70 degrees. Si Pfizer, si Moderna, -25 to -15. And you can store it at regular refrigerator temperature, but you have to use it for 5 days. For Pfizer, the vaccine efficacy is 95%, and the Moderna is 94.1%. And these are the common side effects. Local reaction is pain on the injection site, no? Fever, chills, no? Headache. Yan mga common side effect na nahihiling with Moderna and Pfizer. For Astra, it is a non-replicating viral vector. No? It has also already FDA EUA approval in the US and the UK, and it has EUA approval also in the Philippines. Moderna, no EUA yet. No? It is also 2 doses at 6 to 12 weeks apart, and the storage requirement is just 2 to 8 degrees for 3 months. The vaccine efficacy is 70.4% for Astra. Common reaction is injection, pain site. We have body pains, feeling of very tired, headache, and chills. Gamaleya has been recently given EUA. It is also a non-replicating adenovirus with 2 vector types. It has no FDA EUA approval in the US, and recently has been given EUA by the Philippine FDA. It is also 2 doses at 21 days apart, 2 to 8 degrees storage, but for 6 months you need to store it at -20. From their studies, their efficacy is 91.6%, 21 days after the first dose. These are the common side effects: pain on the injection site, systemic reactions like feeling of fever, swelling, headache, muscle pains, diarrhea, cold, sneezing. But these side effects or adverse events are the acceptable ones, no? Which is we commonly see even with the other vaccines. Next is the CoronaVac, no, or the Sinovac. We commonly know this as Sinovac. It is an inactivated type of virus, no, which is the commonly flat form of virus that vaccine that we are using. It has already Philippine FDA EUA approval at 2 doses apart, 2 doses at 28 days apart. No, the storage is not that difficult at 2 to 8 degrees. No, basing from their studies, their efficacy is 50.65%, 14 days after the second dose. Common side effect is pain, swelling, itchiness, and headache, no, body pains. During my first dose of Sinovac, I didn't feel any side effect except when I went home after a very busy day of the vaccination, there was pain in the injection site. But on the second dose, medyo mas pronounced na may body pains. But after a day, it went away, no? And with just a paracetamol, it will go away. So these are the 5 vaccines that are in the pipeline in the Philippines, and for these 4 ones, the CoronaVac, Gamaleya, and the Astra, and Pfizer-BioNTech has the EUA, FDA EUA already. Now, there are a lot of questions about the vaccine, no? One of which is, can a COVID-19 vaccine make me sick with a COVID-19? No, because none of them is a live virus, no? So that would mean that a COVID-19 vaccine cannot make you sick with COVID-19. After getting a COVID-19 vaccine, will I test positive for COVID-19 or viral test? No, because none of them, again, are live virus and it cannot be detected in the body. If I have already had COVID-19 and recovered, do I still need to get the vaccines? Yes, because studies have shown that the antibody or the immunity that you get from your natural infection with COVID-19 would only last about 3 months. So you still need a vaccine to increase your antibody production or your protection from the disease again. Will a COVID-19 vaccine protect me from getting sick with COVID-19? Yes, but COVID-19 vaccination works by teaching your immune system how to recognize and fight the virus that causes COVID-19. And this protects you from getting sick with COVID-19. No? Yung mga mRNA, will it alter my DNA? No, because they do not change or interact with your DNA. So it's safe pa rin to be given. If you are pregnant, if you would want to be vaccinated, can I get the vaccine? Yes. No, even if you have plans of getting pregnant. So my question din, if I am breastfeeding, can I get the vaccine? Yes, you can. If I'm pregnant, can I get the vaccine? Well, it depends on your risk. If you're a COVID nurse and you're exposed every day, the benefit will outweigh the risk, no? Although there's not much of studies about pregnant women being vaccinated, but if you are at risk, then you should be given. So now the question is, magpapabakuna na ba kayo? No? I hope the 56% that was undecided and the 15% who said no would have a change of heart and eventually would get vaccinated once the vaccines are available. So these are my references and thank you very much. Hello, Michael.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doc. Again, we would like to extend our thanks to our resource speaker, Dr. Jose Manuel T. Ranyola III, point person for emerging infectious diseases of the Bicol Medical Center. At this point, before we proceed with the open forum, and we would like to provide you with further information regarding the vaccination and other COVID-19 pandemic responses of the government. So we will first have the video presentation on the vaccine approval process and government strategic plan for COVID-19 vaccination and priority groups. So while we do it, we will be receiving your questions via message through the chat section of the Zoom meeting or via the comment section on our streaming channels. So our streaming channels are Parso YouTube official and Parso info page. And of course, your questions will be answered during the open forum after the video presentation.
Director General Rolando Enrique D. Domingo of the Philippine Food and Drug Administration with 10 minutes to lay out the vaccine approval process. Director General Domingo, you now have the floor.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Let me just share my screen. I want to give everybody an idea on the approval process of the FDA and how we allow the use of vaccines that are still under development. Give you an idea what an emergency use authorization is. and what what it entails. I'm happy to be with pharmacists. I'm with pharmacists the whole day, every day at FDA. No? So a lot of you are going to be very familiar with this. As we all know, the approval or the development of a product usually starts from discovery, and then we have our preclinical, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 research. Once the clinical trial phase 3 trials are completed and efficacy and safety are established, then the product can go through registration. Yun yung yellow bar natin. And then when you get an approval, you have a certificate of product registration. But if we have to wait for all of this before we get a vaccine against COVID-19, that will be at the earliest maybe 2023, not 2022. So we are here now at the pink part, yung phase 3, at the middle of phase 3 trial, and we're already thinking of using these vaccines. So ito yung original na natin. If you look at the left side, that would be the regular way of evaluating and approving a vaccine for marketing authorization to the country. Would take about 6 months to a year with all of these steps and all of these requirements. But for the EUA, we have decreased it, decreased the requirements and the processing time to about 21 days for vaccines that already have an EUA from a stringent regulatory authority like US FDA, for example, or the European Medicines Agency, or Japan, Korea, mga alam naman natin na mga reliable, and of course WHO listing. Now, why do we have an EUA? The FDA law, or RA 9711, is always working within an environment of normalcy. Parang lagi, day in, day out, pero wala namang emergency. And as such, only products that have completed all the clinical studies and then are registered for marketing are actually allowed into the country and allowed for use in the Philippines. And this was until November of 2020. Yan yung batas na sinusunod natin. And like I said, if we follow this, then hindi na tayo magkakabakuna until merong completely registered vaccine or fully developed. So on December 1, 2020, the President signed Executive Order 121. This grants authority to the Director General of FDA to issue what we call an emergency use authorization, but very specific for COVID-19 drugs and medicines that we will use to combat the pandemic. Now, what does it? So after that, so that was granted signed on December 1, and the FDA released the guidelines on December 14. If you want to take a look, it's on our website. And then we started accepting applications for the emergency use authorization. An emergency use authorization is it's a regulatory mechanism that will allow a country or a jurisdiction to use a drug that is not yet registered but is still undergoing development, as long as the following circumstances are present. So kailangan 3 out of 3 nitong mga kondisyones na to ang present. Number 1, based on the evidence to date, whatever we know from the trials now, it is reasonable to believe that the vaccine may be effective to prevent COVID-19. So second, ibig sabihin may efficacy siya. Second, the known and potential benefits of the drug or vaccine outweigh the known and potential risk. So kailangan may safety siya, hindi siya walang risk na nakakatakot na masyadong mabigat. And at the same time, it recognizes that the risks are known and some are not yet known. Some are potential, kasi we know as much as maybe 2 or 3 months follow-up when it comes to these vaccine trials. So something might come up later that we don't know yet, but we have to weigh the potential benefit versus the known and potential risks. And third condition, there must be no adequate or approved or available alternative vaccine. So pag nagkaroon na ng registered vaccine na may CPR, then lahat ng mga EUA unti-unti mafi-phase out na lahat yan. Who can apply for an EUA? The industry can apply for an EUA. So a lot of us, a lot of you in the audience probably work for the industry. So the manufacturer can apply for it. The importer, the local distributor can apply for an EUA. The national government can also apply for an EUA. The Department of Health in particular, for example, may vaccine sila na gustong gamitin pero wala naman local partner, yung manufacturer overseas. Then the DOH can procure and can apply for the EUA for that product. But even if these products are still under development, they must comply with good manufacturing practices. So yung quality, hindi naman natin pwedeng ano yan, isa walang bahala, no? Kailangan pa rin, nandyan pa rin yung quality. And the company must undertake or promise to complete development of the vaccine. So hindi pwedeng pag ginamit natin siya sa EUA, biglang titigil na siya, tapos di na siya magmamanufacture. So in the evaluating the applications, we have the power to implement reliance on stringent regulatory authority decisions and evaluations and recognition of the decisions of the WHO. So patimbang yan, kapag may EUA na siya sa ibang bansa, nagagamit natin yan kung stringent regulatory authority yung EUA niya. So what we do is once we get the application, hinahati ko yun. The safety, quality part, the quality part goes to our regulatory officers. Makaramihan yan, mga pharmacists na kilala ninyo na magagaling. Check nila kung yung produkto ba na talagang in-apply sa US ng EUA, yun din yung ibibigay sa atin. We check for GMP, we check for stability, as you all know, no? And yung mga risk management plan and the pharmacovigilance plans, if they are well laid out. And then yung safety and effectivity and efficacy natin go to our experts, to our vaccine experts. So sila yung magsasabi, does the benefit outweigh the risk? Is this something that we can use to combat COVID-19? And then they submit their recommendations to me and to make the final decision. The EUA is valid only during the public health emergency. Pag nawala na ng pandemic, nawala ng declaration of public health emergency, Pilipinas, wala ng EUA. And of course, we can always revisit it. That's the good thing about it. Like for example, your Pfizer vaccine, marami tayong natututunan ngayon about allergies, about use in super elderly who have a lot of comorbids and who are frail. So nadadagdag natin yan sa product information and guidance on the use of the vaccine as we go along. So we now, after we do that, give the EUA, of course, the FDA and the DOH have to work very, very closely together and with the manufacturer to make sure that pharmacovigilance is there. Yun ang kapalit doon. No? Kailangan malaman natin kung anong nangyayari sa mga nabakunahan. Baka mamaya nasisway na yung ating positive benefit and risk balance ratio. Kailangan nating isipin kung itutuloy, kung ititigil, kung ipopost, kung sakaling may nangyari at may nakita tayong AEFI or adverse events. So ito lang yung just a rundown for everybody, update. Yung Pfizer-BioNTech, siya yung first na nag-apply sa atin. Marami siyang EUA from stringent regulatory authorities and then WHO listing. They applied before Christmas and this was already approved last week. The second is AstraZeneca, has one EUA from an SRA, which is the UK. Tapos ngayon, under evaluation na yan. So hinihintay natin. Yung Gamaleya, nag-apply na rin yan sa atin and we are now doing our evaluation on this. Sinovac applied with the FDA also last week, and on Wednesday they submitted their phase 3 trials. So this is now undergoing evaluation. Others in the horizon, yung si Bharat Biotech is already submitted, pero kulang pa yung requirements nila, so we haven't started evaluation. And we expect Moderna, the Serum Institute of India, Janssen, Clover, and maybe Sinopharm to apply also for EUAs in the country. So, thank you.
Undersecretary Mirna C. Cabotaje of the Department of Health with 10 minutes to lay out the plan for vaccine deployment. Undersecretary Cabotaje, you now have the floor.
Maraming salamat. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Salamat sa inyong pagdalo. To know what is COVID-19 vaccine and vaccination and to learn how you can help. Sabi nga sa umpisa, your primary role is as facilitator, educator, and bago na po yung as vaccinator. The next slide will show us that in this deployment process, we are using a whole of government and whole of nation approach, kagaya ng sabi ni Secretary Galvez kanina. Kailangan concerted effort. We must mobilize everyone with strong leadership and guidance from the national government, nasa gitna. But it is anchored on the deployment and vaccine administration by the local government units. And all of us have a role along these different functions. And the next slide will tell us na malinaw po ang layunin ng ating vaccination. It is to have safe, equitable, and cost-effective immunization for all Filipinos. And nasabi na that the deployment will start this first quarter, and we will start with our healthcare workers, frontliners, and vulnerable population. To do this, it is our mission to institutionalize an end-to-end immunization program for COVID-19, which will protect the public and reduce COVID-19 cases and deaths. So ang ating mga objectives po sa next slide, nasabi na po ni Secretary Galvez that we are on track to provide immunization, kung matuloy po, depende sa global supply, about 50 to 70 million Filipinos. Kaya yung sinabi niya kanina, 158 million doses, basta kakayanin ng ating mga manufacturer. So napaka-importante na palakasin natin ang vaccine confidence ng ating kapwa Pilipino. The effectivity of the vaccine has been proven by science time and again, and yet many of our kababayan have dwindling trust in vaccines. So it's important that as we work to generate high demands for the availment of these novel vaccines, napaka-importante ring siguraduhin ang safety ng immunization program. And you as pharmacists are very much aware and concerned about this. We will also have mechanisms so that we will have sustainable and coordinated immunization program. The next slide will tell us the vaccine roadmap strategic framework ng ating vaccine STAR, which is guiding all of us. Our key considerations, unang-una, safety and efficacy. And these are all discussed earlier. Tapos meron po tayong end-to-end processes that will start from scientific evaluation and selection, nasabi na ni Dr. Nina Gloriani kanina. And then kailangan yung mga EUA, ano yung mga regulatory processes natin. And then we have production, shipment, assessment, evaluation down the line para makamit natin yung ating mga objectives na immunize, full recovery, and protect and save lives. The next slide will tell us the National Deployment and Vaccination Plan, ang siyang magiging end-to-end guide para sa mga implementers. It will be available to our LGUs and all those who are interested. So it will have different chapters, how we went about the vaccination selection, and then how to details the deployment, and special chapters on governance, data management, and risk. My focus will be on the next slide that will show us starting from shipment and storage. Hindi po bago sa inyo ito. Nasabi na kanina that this is really one of the primary roles of pharmacists to ensure the cold chain is maintained, no? And we have already identified our gaps and strengths and end-to-end supply chain system, no? So ang importante, we're able to have a system of distribution pagdating sa airport, sa central storage, preparation and distribution, and vaccine location. And pharmacies are very critical, especially in maintaining the cold chain and ensuring that the vaccine is potent when we inject it sa ating mga vaccines. And in terms of the next slide, distribution and deployment, ang priority po nating population ay based on the WHO strategic advisory group of experts, no? Meron tayong ginagawang mga allocation na naririnig nyo na yon. But then we will have to localize and customize it in our settings. May mga general guidelines pero kailangan na nating i-enhance ang mga ito. So we have an overarching goal na public good siya, and the principles especially of reciprocity. Ibigyan natin ng bakuna yung mga na-expose kasi sila ang kailangan mag-protection. So in terms of the prioritization in the next slide, we will have the frontline health workers, nakalista lahat yan, no? Para may reduction of morbidity and mortality and all our secondary and tertiary goals. The next slide will also tell us, sino pa yung group B na, next slide please. Yan, teachers, social workers, etc. And the last slide, Sabi nga ni Pangulo, everybody should be given vaccine. Kaya lang, depende sa makukuha natin, volumes, then we are going to do it by tranches based on priority. The next slide will tell us the distribution and deployment. Sabi na kanina, anong klase ng mga bakuna? Tatlong temperature control yan, may +2 to +8 and -20 and the -70. Yung +2 to +8 and -20, halos pareho yan. It will follow the system of our National Immunization Program, EPI. You're very familiar with this, no? From the vaccine supplier, paano siya makarating sa recipient. Ang bago lang natitignan natin ay yung handling ng -70 to -80 degrees because it will entail special handling and kailangan may special training for this kasi we have not done this in the past. The next slide will tell us the activities that will be undertaken. May tinatawag tayong pre-implementation activities where we see identification of the vaccine eligible population. Magsa-simulate po tayo, magpa-practice, mag-dress rehearsal, magti-tabletop, mag-profile and screen and register, and then titingnan natin ang allocation and distribution of the vaccine. And then we have a detailed presentation of how we implement our vaccines. The next slide will tell us at yung mga key components, the 3 M's, nagpa-master list na tayo. Kailangan may planning. How is it going to be done in the LGUs, in the hospitals, government and private, in the clinics, no? And we are now mapping our vaccination sites and teams. So if you are interested, please sign up with your local government units kasi sila on top of the situation. As we do, identify and scale up our vaccination workforce. Bago lang po ang mga pharmacists as vaccinators. So we will see how we can train you, and that should be together with our local government units. The next slide will tell us the implementation of a nationwide vaccination. Paano ba ito gagawin? Ano ba yung mga composition ng teams? No? This will be detailed in the actual orientation. Kailangan ng may nagbabakuna team, meron tayong adverse event, tapos yung mga fixed posts po ito sa mga sites natin na medical centers, rural health units, and other facilities. The next slide will tell us how the vaccination team is going to proceed. May registration, may health education, may screening and vaccination. And then meron post-vaccination. As we see in the next slide, the layout of the vaccination site, no? So meron tayong, we are still in the pandemic, so importante ang infection prevention control measures, ay mga screening. Ang highlight lang natin, after the vaccination, hindi po pauuwiin yung nabakunahan o obserbahan siya for 30 minutes to 1 hour, tapos i-record po yung kanyang adverse event, yung merong immediate at tapos yung kailangan na follow-up after 1 year. And we are following the next slide, the adverse event following immunization surveillance cycle. You are aware of this. Yung ating mga reporting facilities, ano yung buong sistema ng surveillance from notification, reporting, investigation, analysis. Kasama po ang mga pharmacists dito, especially our FDA sa ating causality as part of pharmacovigilance. The next slide will tell us the governance structures, a robust system of leadership under the vaccine cluster, and we have now establishing the COVID-19 Vaccine Operations Center at various levels. And we have a special chapter on the next slide, data management. Meron po tayong master listing, if possible, QR code. Meron po tayong vaccination cards to write kung ano yung dose niya, ano yung lot number, you're all familiar with this, tapos reminder for the second dose. And the last slide will tell us to complete the whole deployment, national deployment and vaccination program. We have risk communication. Meron tayong task group headed by the PIA and the DOH so that we can engage all of you. So everyone has taken this, from the healthcare workers to the private sector, to all of you. And we look forward to working with you in this endeavor. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you everyone for staying with us throughout the program. At this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, we will now have the open forum, and we already are ready with the questions that was posted in our Facebook page, in Parso Info page, our official streamline. And of course, we also have questions in the chat section of the Zoom meeting. We have the first question from, hi Doc, good afternoon po. Okay, we have our first question from Ma'am Rose Marita Bardillo. The question is, kung nagtitake po ba ng maintenance sa high blood, pwede po bang magpa-vaccine?
Yes, yes. So there's no contraindication pag naka-maintenance medication ka, no? In fact, kung naka-maintenance medication ka for hypertension, for diabetes, you belong to the high-risk group. So the more na dapat magpabakuna ka.
Okay. So there's another question, sir, from Sir JC Coruno. The question is, once vaccinated na po, Doc, are we immune forever? Like, for example, sa measles vaccine daw po.
No, no. Iyan ang difference. Pag mga live vaccine, ang immunity that they give is almost lifetime, no? But with this vaccine, like flu vaccine, we give it every year, no? With the COVID-19 vaccine, it's still part of the study kung up to when pwede lang. Ang nakalabas pa lang ng answer to that is Pfizer and Moderna, no? Na it only lasts for 6 months. So you still need to get a booster dose. So the other vaccines, they do not have yet the answer kung up to how many months, how long ang immunity that the vaccine can give.
Okay. Thank you, Doc. So we also have another question from Sir Prime Barha. The question is, what is the side effect of the vaccine to persons taking anti-seizure medication?
Mayaman, it's still the same, no? Yung mga pain and injection site, body pain. So basically, the side effect will be the same with the other population, even without taking any medications.
Okay. So, Doc, marami tong questions, Doc. I'll just go over with the questions. Okay, the next question po is from Angelica Selpo. The question is, hanggang kailan po ang duration ng side effect ng vaccine?
1 to 2 days, no? The most is 3 days. So, yun yung no? Yung pain, probably up to 3 or 4 days, but it's just a simple pain, a minor pain.
The next question, Doc, is same lang po sa nauna. So, I'll be skipping Mr. John Paul Obias's question. Okay, the next question would be from J. Corono. How to interpret po, Doc, the efficacy rate, like with the Sinovac 50.65%? Does it simply mean po na we have still 49.35% possibility na magka-COVID?
Yeah, simply put, no? So you still have chance of getting the COVID, but it will just be a mild one, no? Parang ubot-sipon na lang siya. All these vaccines give almost 100% protection from severe to critical COVID-19, no? Which means that you are safe from dying from COVID-19. But you can still get COVID-19, but it will just be a mild one, no? Baka nga ni mo marisa na may COVID ka dahil ubot-sipon na lang siya ang mamamatian mo.
Okay. Yes, we also have another question, Doc, from Marjorie Nebran. How about yung may mga skin problems or allergies like urticaria and I don't know how to pronounce this one, pityriasis rosea? Okay lang po magpa-vaccine, Doc?
Yeah, during the day of vaccination, as long as there is no active lesion, no, may active na rash, may active na urticaria, pwede kang mabigyan ng bakuna.
Okay, so another question, Doc, from Cho Bore. If may mild stroke po ba, Doc, like me, sabi niya, pwede po bang magpa-vaccine?
Yeah, kung recovered ka na from the stroke, tapos na, the more na dapat magpabakuna ka. So pwede talaga.
Okay, Doc. Yes, we also have another question. This is probably from our Facebook page, Doc. Okay. The question is, what is your opinion on the use of ivermectin as treatment against COVID po?
even the manufacturer itself nagsasabi that this medicine is not made for COVID-19, no? The peculiarity about COVID-19, no, because this is just a viral illness. If you look at the data, nasa ilan? 89% ang recovery, no? And ang mild cases na nasa 95%. So if you're a mild case, even if you drink medicine or you do not drink the medicine, you will recover. No? So minsan kaya, inom ka kayan, narahay ako, i-attribute mo na naman sa bulong na to. When in fact, even if you did not take that medicine, mararahay ka. So ako, kung si manufacturer nga nagsasabi na this medicine is not made for COVID-19, so why bother?
Thank you, Doc. So, yan. We also have another question, Doc, from a student from Charissa May Los Aura. The question is, what if you have allergies po, especially allergies sa medicine? Pwede po bang magpa-vaccine? Allergies daw,
Allergies
Doc.
sa medicine? Pwede.
Yes po.
Yeah, pwede. So far, no, during our first round of COVID vaccination with Sinovac, particularly Sinovac,
Yes.
halos saro lang na-encounter ming nag-rash after. No? So that's why during vaccination, may post-monitoring pa 30 minutes to see kung if you'll develop allergy or not. Pero more often than that, may nagkakaigwa.
Okay. So there's a question, Doc, from the PSU community. The question says, what vaccine would you recommend to us, the PSU community? What vaccine would be best for the young ones and for the senior citizens?
What vaccine is the best one? Kung ano ang vaccine na mag-abot na available na. No? Because like I'm looking at your data, 41% wants Pfizer. Paano makakaabot si Pfizer sa PSU? Kaya puha mong ultra-low freezer. No? So logistic-wise, it will be very difficult. No? Gusto mo na halangkaw na efficacy rate, but no rin maabot, di mo aram as against kung iguanang available bakuna, get the vaccine. Ano yung recommendation for adult or senior citizen? Pigbago na kang FDA even for senior citizens is Sinovac, pwede na, no? So I think ang goal is to vaccinate a lot of people para manang dudumanan si virus kung kabus na mabakunahan na, sumapundo si hila. No? So it doesn't matter kung anong brand ang gagamitin mo. Importante, mabakunahan ka na once available na ang bakuna.
Yes, Doc. Thank you, Doc. So we also have a question from the finance department from Judith Piamonte. The question is, pwede po ba, Doc, magpa-vaccine kapag nag-undergo na ng craniotomy?
Yes. Pwede.
Craniotomy. I don't know how to pronounce that one. Anyway, ayan. So let us look at... Okay. So there's a private message here. Paas naman po if safe magpa-vaccine ang taong may eczema, atopic dermatitis, and other skin conditions. And diabetic raw po.
Yeah. Diabetes, definitely, dapat. Those with eczema, basta during the day of vaccination, no active lesion, pwede.
Okay. So there's another question, sir, from Sir Raul Burse. If I experience daw po severe adverse reaction or long-term effects, or rather to die from the vaccine, can I be compensated from the vaccine manufacturer, or will I be compensated by the vaccine manufacturer or the government perhaps?
I think the government has a compensation plan for that. So si government ang mabayad.
Okay. So there's, ayan, ang daming questions, Doc. There's another one from Dr. Jem Barceliano, si Dean. So is there a contraindication to COVID-19 vaccination?
None, no? So kung may medical condition, the more dapat mo bakuna ka. Ang so far na hilima lang na contraindication is during the vaccination day, may mga active rashes ba? Nag-abot ka, dati nag-allergy ka pala, may nakakan ka, nag-allergy ka, so di ka pwedeng bakunahan.
Yes.
Those with low immune system, like HIV, depende kung kumusta ang status niya. Kung okay man, so no problem.
Yes, Doc. Okay, so there's another question from Sir J.C. Coruno. May possibility po ba, Doc, na maging seasonal o endemic na lang na disease ang COVID like flu?
Sana hindi. Sana hindi. So we still don't know.
Okay, so sige. So there's a question pa rin po. So I'll still read questions. This one is from Hazel Gonzalez, a student perhaps. Required po ba lahat magpa-vaccine?
Hindi siya compulsory, pero ang goal natin mabakunahan the more people para mag-stop na ang virus, para bumalik na tayo sa normal na day-to-day activities natin.
Okay.
No?
Yes po.
So kumbaga, wag mo isipin yung sarili mo na ayaw mo, isipin mo rin yung paligid mo na sana makabalik tayo sa dati natin noon by way of vaccinating more people.
Okay. So at this point, we will now be entertaining the last 3 questions na lang po siguro, Doc. Okay, so we have question here from Sir Rico Sabaliege. The question is, safe din po ba ang vaccine sa person who had angioplasty?
Yes, yes. Kasi high risk sila, no? May heart problem sila. So dapat magpabakuna.
Okay. And I guess this one would go to the university officials. Sorry, this question is from Mark Benji Sapian. Required po ba na magpa-vaccine bago or if ever na may face-to-face po? Siguro from the university perhaps.
I can also answer in terms of BMC.
Yes,
no?
Doc.
So sa BMC kasi naglabas ng order yung CHED that some schools has given already authority to do face-to-face, yung mga clinical, no?
Yes,
and then they will be part of the priority group na mabibigyan ng bakuna. I think ang stand ng BMC, if walang bakuna, you will not be allowed to go to be part of the training inside the hospital. So dapat may bakuna para maka face-to-face yung mga clinical areas sa BMC.
Okay, thank you, Doc. I guess we'll start from there. Sige, last 2 questions na lang po. Super dami pang questions actually, Doc, but yeah, last 2 questions na lang daw po. How true? I guess this was already answered. Okay. So, same lang din po. So with the question kung pwedeng magpa-vaccine yung may seizure, this was already answered. And another question, how true that you'll be compensated by the government? This was already answered. Okay, I guess that's it. Thank you very much, Doc, for staying with us. Yan. Thank you. Our resource speaker again, ladies and gentlemen, is Dr. Jose Manuel T. Ranyola III, the point person for emerging infectious diseases of the Bicol Medical Center. And of course, to show our appreciation, we will now be awarding the certificate of appreciation to our resource speaker. Allow me to read the citation. Citation reads, Partido State University, Goa Kamsur awards this certificate of appreciation to Dr. Jose Manuel T. Ranyola III for sharing his valuable knowledge as resource speaker during the webinar on COVID-19 vaccination with the theme, Tapusin ang Pandemya, Tayo na at Magpabakuna. Given this 14th day of April 2021 via a virtual platform. Signed, Raul G. Bradicina, PhD, SUC Resident 3. Thank you very much, Doc. And of course, we appreciate each and every one of our participants for staying with us throughout the program. And to officially close our webinar, may we request the presence of Dr. Gemma T. Barceliano, our OSIS Dean, for the closing remarks.
My heart is full that words are not enough to express my appreciation to all who are part of this very essential and timely webinar. To our resource speaker, Dr. Jose Manuel T. Ranyola III, the point person for the emerging infectious diseases of Bicol Medical Center in Naga City. I am pretty much aware that you are a very sought after person in your work this time, but still you manage to share with us your precious time. With that, we are very much grateful. Your expertise and wisdom really enlighten us in making a crucial decision regarding COVID-19 vaccination. Thank you very much for that. To our university president, Dr. Raul G. Bredicina, thank you very much, sir, for the support extended. Indeed, we are very much grateful. To our Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Erlinda M. Basilia, the Office of Student Affairs and Services appreciates your time and your motherly support. To the Medical and Dental Unit of Partido State University, headed by Dr. Jose Seth Biclidera Jr., thank you very much for initiating this very commendable endeavor. Salamat po sa indugabos. To my fellow workers in Partido State University, thank you very much for attending this webinar, despite the voluminous tasks we have at present. And to our most valued clients, our students, thank you very much for your presence and active participation. To all of you, thank you and keep safe. Tapusin ang pandemya, tayo na at magpabakuna. Good afternoon.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. So at this point, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to announce, we would like to inform you of the statistics of the participants that we've had this afternoon. Wait lang, asa na yun? Okay, we have 100 participants via Zoom, 162 participants in Facebook Live, and we also have 64 participants via our YouTube channel. So, ayan. So, our video or our live stream will be available in the Parso info page. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is to inform you regarding the questions on the certificates. So your certificates will be given after you are able to accomplish the evaluation form, which will be posted also in the Parso info page. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That ends our program. I am Mr. Michael Valle, and I have been your host. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you. Keep safe. Thank you, Doc.